Where are you from? City and state. Drop it in the comments. City and state. Where are you from? Let me know. You know the drill. City and state. Let me know where you're from. Fill it up with hearts. Let's go. We're rolling already tonight. This is going to be fun. Probably the most powerful live I've ever done tonight. Manipulation. This is going to be crazy. There you go. City and state. Good to see you. Thank you. I love my hat. Older lady at the church made this for me. Wilmington, thank you so much. Good, city and state, let me know. Of course, it's giving AKA vibes. ATL, I see you. Nashville, Washington, DC, California. Thank you, Cali. Mebans in the house, not far. Miami, what's up? Was there not too long ago. Good. Let me know city and state. Come on, we're gonna do at least one more song before we get into it. This is gonna be fun. I need you to share this with as many people. Hit the share button, hit the heart button. I need y'all to get amped up. I need energy tonight. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I want you to hit that. I need to see hearts flying. I need to see share buttons. We need to hit 100 shares real fast. Can y'all do that? Everybody on the live hits the share button. We'll hit 100 real quick. This is gonna be fun tonight. We're talking about manipulation. Somebody's gonna be free. Come on, hit that share button. This is a perfect time for you to get something to drink and do the Cupid shuffle real quick. Good. There you go. Hit the hearts. There's the lives. I see you. Thank you. Hit that live button fast. Let's get ready. City and state. Let me know where you're from. Come on, city and state. Come on, don't stop. Make sure you say what's up in the chat area. Speak. It's rude. It's rude to jump in and not speak. Say hello in the chat area quickly. This is going to be fun. City and state. Good. More Cali. Cali is really in the house tonight. What's up with that? Carolina, of course. Hometown. Dallas. What's up? All right. This is going to be good. Got my kiddos over here dancing. I would put the camera on them, but they don't have clothes. South Carolina, Milwaukee. Wow, what's up? Connecticut. Come on. I need you at your desk or at the couch doing a little dance real quick. Hurry up. Come on. You got 2 minutes. Get it in. City and state, let's go. Come on, hit the heart button, hit the share button. If it sounds like I'm screaming, I'm screaming. Come on, let's see who's gonna hold the note. Let's go, come on. My kids are holding it. Trinidad, I see you. Michigan, I see you. Come on. There you go. One person held the note. Who is that? No, 2 people. There we go. I see you, Lachey. Oh, happy birthday. Sweet D 8.0. Happy birthday. Come on, city and state, let me know what's up. Happy birthday, Sweet D. Come on, hit that share button. City and state if you haven't already. We starting in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, come on. I need 50 more people to hit the share button. Would you do that? Come on. My kids are turned up. I wish y'all could see them. They turn. Y'all probably hear footsteps. Burning house. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Sean from Alabama. I appreciate you for that. Come on. It's hot in here. Redondo Beach, California. What's up? Lord, it's hot. I'm about to burn up. Chesterfield, Redondo, Maryland. Good. First time, Victoria. Thank you so much. Let me get myself together. Come on, city and state, Baton Rouge. All right. Yes, 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 yes. Come on. I need 50 more shares real quick. Hurry. Like the live, share the live, join the live. I'm talking about manipulation. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be heavy tonight. You might need some tissue. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough tonight. Get some tissue, get you something to drink. Whatever you're drinking, get something. Because you're going to probably need it tonight. This is going to be very interesting tonight. City and state, if you haven't already, y'all, the birthday girl is on the line. I don't know her. We got a birthday girl on there. My kids are just dancing. My playlist is pretty lethal. What y'all know about this? Who know anything about this right here? Who? I need to see hearts if you know what this is. Gaithersburg, thank you so much. Come on, y'all. Like the video, share the video. This is good. Good. This is really good. We are dealing with manipulation tonight. And I've got to challenge you. Atlanta, good. Here come the hearts. Where is Houston tonight? I don't see Houston. What's going on? Where is Houston tonight? Houston hasn't checked in. I think I saw Miami. DC I saw once. There's New York. All right. Where's Houston? Are you there, Houston? Chicago, thank you so much. Tyler, Texas. Tyler is heavy tonight. There we go, Houston. Thank you. I've been looking for y'all. San Antonio, Houston, be more. I was just there recently. Florida, Connecticut, Florida. Come on, Trinidad is really in the house tonight. Turks, I need to be in the Turks bad. Thank you so much for tuning in. LA, always a pleasure. LA, thank y'all so much. This is going to be some good work tonight. Y'all going to get some work tonight. Jamaica, hope to be there real soon. Y'all are going to get some work tonight. This is going to be fun. I want to get into it. So let me just lower the music because I really want to play this all night. It's always hard to unwind. I know kiddos are upset that I'm cutting the music off. Who makes the crochet hats? There's an older lady at our church that made them by hand for elderly people in nursing homes. And so when people say, hey, Brianna, she's new. What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. When people always comment on the hat is very significant for me. I've got that color. I've got a blue color. I've got a white color, an all white hat. And it's significant because she makes them for elderly people and homeless people. And so I really got hip to what she was doing and asked her to allow me to have a few of them. And she did. She gives them away to homeless people. She makes them for elderly people, and they're handmade. She's awesome with those. And so that's where I do it. Somebody else says you make them too. I need to go. Yes, you can make me one. I will be dropping my P.O. box real soon. I've got a lot of exciting things coming up, man. This is crazy. And so, yeah, if you want to make me one and send me one, I can definitely do it. I'll be sure to shout you. My head ain't that big. But, you know, if you know anything about crocheting, they really stretch. And so I love my crochets. I'm cold natured, so I'm always walking around the house in them. My kids will tell you that. And I'm sure they get tired of seeing me in them. And so let's get into it tonight. Any color. My favorite colors are green and what? Red and green. Thank you. Red and green are my favorite colors. Let's get into this. I don't want to belabor any more time. This has been fun. So tonight we are going to talk from the subject, how to stop manipulation. And this is important because I get a lot of questions from people, clients, obviously, but also people in my inbox, DMs about manipulation, narcissism. I'm not going to get much into narcissism tonight. That's definitely going to be a totally separate show. But I'm going to deal with manipulation because what I want us all to understand is that manipulation is probably more common than most people really think. And not only is it more common than most people think, I've discovered this, that more people are guilty of manipulation than they realize they are. It is easy to be guilty of manipulation. And so I'm gonna make that real plain tonight in some intro things. And this is going to be amazing. Now, a couple of quick announcements, and I need my moderators, of course, to do what you do. Thank you so much for my moderators. They are amazing. And if you are a regular viewer and you're interested in moderating, just shoot me a DM I can pull reports based on your name. It'll show me who watches a lot. And if you're interested in moderating, just shoot me a DM and I will be happy to add you on because the channel is really growing. Moderators, if you would share in the chat area the link to group work. This Saturday, I'm hosting at noon Eastern Standard Time, group work. So this week, something crazy happened. I booked my first appointment for the month of August. So that means from a one-on-one coaching standpoint, May is booked, June is covered, July is almost covered, and now we're in the month of August. There are literally people on my schedule 4 months in advance. It's overwhelming, I'll be honest with you, and your support has really been amazing. The reality of the matter is I'm also aware that many of you have some pressing, challenging things you would love to get some coaching on. I would love to help you. But the problem is there's literally a line. That wait list for one-on-one coaching probably won't be released for another 3 or 4 weeks as I have some clients begin to roll off and I can bring some new ones on. So I will say this, if you cannot wait 3-4 weeks or 3-4 months, I would highly recommend group work. We did our first group work Saturday before last, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've experienced in a long time. I've been doing group coaching, group counseling for a very long time, and people really underestimate the power of community. In fact, that when you are telling your story among peers, love y'all. Y'all get some rest, okay? Say your prayers. Love y'all. My kiddos are heading to the bed. They're all danced out. And I see somebody that says they were there. Yes, this Saturday at noon, the link is in my bio. I'm going to get the moderators to put it on in the chat and then tag it or pin it. But let me tell you something. Group coaching is powerful because of the element of community, right? It's this idea of having the courage to come on the screen with me and share your story and share your issue and allow us to work through it. It takes some courage, yes. But what we discovered 2 Saturdays ago was how powerful community was. There were some amazing stories and situations that people really had the courage to share. And we were able to walk through some things. I had viewers send me messages saying they were on there crying, listening to other people's story, listening to the feedback that we gave, watching other people comment on other situations and throw out encouragement and suggestions. It was a powerful thing. I've got friends who have gone through the 12-step program. If you have ever been through the 12-step program, you know that that's all about community, where you literally utilize community to hold one another accountable. And so I want to challenge you to sign up for group work. If you want to get on, I've got probably about 10 or 11 slots left. There is a cap, an RSVP cap. And so many people have signed up for this over the last week and a half that I'm probably going to have to scale back my lecture to maybe 10, 15 minutes and literally do almost 90 minutes of Q&A where you can come on the screen, ask your question, and we get through it. And so I want to encourage you to do that if you have not RSVP for group work, and I think you'll find it to be very beneficial. All right, so got that going on this Saturday. I am also thinking about maybe sold out. The 27th is sold out. It shouldn't be. I don't believe. I think I've got a handful of slots, maybe 7 or 8 slots. So I know the 13th, you shouldn't see the old one on there, but the 27th should be on the site, I hope. It should be on the site. So just definitely check it out. I may be in the not next week, but perhaps week after that. I'm thinking about going live maybe 3 times in 1 week. And the reason behind that is because I want to go ahead and get TikTok prepared to transition some of this stuff to YouTube. This is why I am finalizing details to start my podcast. There are a lot of people who say, Doc, your videos are too long. And I'll be honest with you, I've gone against the grain. My videos are some of the most watched videos that are 7 to 10 minute videos. I look at the data. I have thousands and thousands of people who literally watch almost the entirety of my videos. So the content really is working, but it is very much podcast friendly. And so I'm intending to really go full force on YouTube and perhaps Apple so that you can download the podcast where you are. Thank you so much, Pretty Me. I appreciate that. So that you can download the podcast where you are. And so I'm hoping for us to make that transition within the next 3 to 5 weeks. All right. And so I appreciate your support, your patience. It's hard to get some of these stories out in 3 minutes. And what a lot of people don't realize is that I never do multiple takes. I literally record some notes to remind myself of what I need to cover. I press record and I just go. And so the podcasts are going to teach me to be able to extend the stories a little bit longer and be able to really empower, hopefully, you in a more significant way. All right. And so don't forget again, it is so important. In the next 3 to 5 weeks, we're going to make that shift and that adjustment there. Okay. Now, let's get into the topic. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to stop manipulation. I want you to put that in the comments now. You already know the drill. If this is not your first time, you know that we take notes in the comments. I have people that are actually working right now who have their headphones on that go back and watch the replay. FYI, you can see the replay of tonight on YouTube tomorrow. You can see it on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is at Zeb the Third. And you can see the replay of tonight on YouTube tomorrow. All right. But we're going to deal with how to stop manipulation. I want you to record notes in the comments. And if I say something that makes sense to you, that resonates with you, I want you to type church with as many R's as you can in the comments. All right. So you should be typing church all night. You should be taking notes all night. If you've got a journal, which you know I recommend highly, I've got an electronic journal here. But if you've got a journal or something you can manually record notes in, I want you to do that because we think that's going to be beneficial to you retaining the information. Now, consider this your counseling and coaching session for the week. So let's talk about manipulation really quickly. The word manipulation comes from, if you break down the word mani, meaning hand, and anytime we think about the word manipulation, we are dealing with a situation where people have to have their hands on something. All right. This is a very basic, elementary way to really explain this. You know, I love analogies and simplicity. So when we think about manipulation, let's think about a person. When we say someone is a manipulator, we are saying that they are a person who has to have their hands on something. Now, it's okay to want to have or need to have your hands on something. But the problem is when you have to have your hands on it, especially from the context of control, right? Because when it comes to manipulation, typically one of four things are happening. A person has to have their hands on something in order to handle something, in order to touch something, in order to guide something, or in order to control something. I want to say that again. People who manipulate tend to need their hands on something in order to handle something, touch something, guide something, or control something. Good. My first church tonight. Come on, I need to see some churches and some shares tonight. Again, people who tend to manipulate do this because they need to either handle something, touch something, guide something, and control something. All right. This is important to understand. When we understand this, then we understand that manipulation at the end of the day for real is all about the need to try to manipulate or maneuver an outcome. All right. Manipulation is about maneuvering an outcome. And anytime we have to maneuver an outcome or get involved in something in order to shift an outcome, we are then attempting to live our lives through force. Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote one of the most, love you baby, who wrote one of the most powerful books I've ever read called Letting Go, talks about this in his book called The Map of Consciousness. That's a really good read. I would highly recommend The Map of Consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins. He talks about power and control. And anytime people are in lower vibrations of energy, right? Anger, guilt, frustration, hurt, they tend to try to work towards forcing an outcome. Manipulation is one of the lowest forms of vibrational energy you can operate in. When your spirit is in a place called manipulation, you are literally using your hands and force to try to maneuver an outcome for good or bad. I think that's an amazing question, right? That can be, thanks Charms Love. That can be for good. That can also be for bad. But at the end of the day, there's a place. This is good. I need a lot of churches here. There's a place where you heal and grow to a place where you, Dr. David Hawkins, there's a place where you grow and heal to a place where you no longer feel the need to be in control and you just allow life to be. You're going to know you're healed when you no longer feel the need to control a narrative. I want to say this slow. I need everybody to either record that or type church. You're going to know you are growing when you no longer feel the need to control a narrative. You're going to know you're growing. I'm going to say it until I get 100 churches. You're going to know you're growing until when you no longer feel the need to control a narrative, when you no longer feel the need to control an outcome. This is called living in the present. When you have spent time in prayer, meditation, journaling, reflection, inner work, those things, you get to a place where literally you ain't trying to control nothing or nobody. You let people come into your life. Watch this. You even welcome the idea that they might leave your life. This is important. When you are really operating in this place, this high spiritual, high energetic, high vibrational place, you get to a place where you're not trying to hold on to nothing. You allow life to sit in. Let me make sure I get my angles right. You allow life to sit in your hands. You don't hold on to life. And many of you are grasping life and you're trying to squeeze it and hold it. But there's a higher frequency that you've got to operate in spiritually that allows you to say, I ain't trying to grasp nothing. I welcome things in my life and I sit those things in my hand freely. Right? And as long as they want to be there, I allow them to be there. If they decide they want to roll off, I don't class for them. Right? I don't try to trick them so they stay. I allow them to roll off. And that is the place where you've got to grow to. You're going to know you're growing for real when you get to a place where you are willing to even let things you love, things you appreciate, things you enjoy, when you're willing to let those things go. This is the highest form of frequency, spiritual frequency, spiritual energy, whatever word you want to use. That is the polar opposite of manipulation. Manipulation says, I've got to control the outcome. Freedom says, when you grow to a place of spiritual freedom and healing and growth, says, I'm going to give the things in my life the freedom and the will to come and go as they please. Right? I'm not grasping for nothing. I'm not trying to keep anything hostage, hold anything hostage, but I'm going to give things the freedom to come in and out of my life and just let life flow, right? Let life flow in, life flow out. I like the word detachment. I see somebody putting in there. I love where somebody put in their free will. That's when you're going to know you're healed. And so the reason why, this is going to get a little tight here. The reason why I know many of you need to grow for real is because you have allowed yourself to try to manipulate outcomes for fear of pain or for fear of hurt, right? You don't want to know what it's like to be alone. You don't want to know what it's like to be without someone you love. And so instead of allowing things to evolve as they are, you hold on tight, right? So that thing that's in your hand is trying to get out and you squeeze it tight. And you say, no, but like, so we played the song tonight, Before I Let You Go, right? And don't misunderstand me. I love the song, right? I like Beyonce's rendition of it as well. But the reality of the matter is the song Before I Let You Go is a very poisonous song. Just hear me out. The song Before I Let You Go is a very poisonous song because it suggests that I'm going to hold you as long as I can. Right? And we hold the note. Go! And we just hold it and we doing the Cupid shuffle. But the reality of the matter is it's poison because there are things in your life, situations that sometimes, in fact, most times, it's better to release your grip and let them fall out of your hand. Okay? And so this is why I said earlier in the beginning of this particular live tonight that most of us are guilty of manipulation, whether we realize it or not. Anytime. Let me make this real clear. And let me see how many of you are willing to be honest by saying church or putting your hand up or giving the hand up emoji. Anytime, if you have ever tried to grip something tight that you did not want to lose, you are guilty of manipulation. You never looked at manipulation that way, I bet. Come on, let me see how many honest people I've got. I need to see some hands. There you go. Let's just be honest. All of us have been guilty of manipulation, where we have been involved in situations, circumstances where literally we have gripped that thing as tight as we could because we did not want to let it go. And so I'm here to tell you, never get so attached to anything that you aren't willing. You may not want to, but that you're not willing to let it go. All right. That's so important. So again, hands do primarily four things, right? Manning, hand, manipulation, hand over, hand covers, right? Hands, handle, touch, guide, and control. Now, let me give you 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. This is going to be good. This is where it might get a little dicey. Y'all hit that share button. Our numbers are still climbing. I would love to get to 500 viewers tonight. Let me give you 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. This is going to be really good. And we're going to deal with a lot. I think I saw Rox, one of the moderators tonight, talk about children. And this is going to be good because I'm going to kind of get into how sometimes parents plant seeds of manipulation in you. And I'm going to talk about how that's happened. And this is why parental wounds, mother wounds, father wounds are so critical, right? But I want to give you 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. Because manipulation, let me just say this, manipulation doesn't always just happen in a relationship. You can be a victim of manipulation at work. This is going to make some people upset. You can also be a victim of manipulation at church. I ain't talking about the church with all the R's. I'm talking about the church with 1 R. And this is why pastors, spiritual leaders have to make sure that they don't use their authority to control people. I'm going to get in trouble here. I have friends. I've got friends that are Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, Lutheran, atheists, Seventh-day Adventists. I've got friends from all across the spectrum. It's what makes my work, I believe, so impactful. But let me tell you something. I got people right now that won't set foot in a church because of the manipulation that oftentimes happens, where instead of just doing what you're called to do and serving people, we put our hands on it and we end up controlling or attempting to control the people you should be attempting to serve. That's a different topic for a different day. All right. But let me give you, I don't want to get in trouble with all the saints. Let me give you 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. All right. 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. All right. Sign number 1. Y'all ready? Y'all recording this? Number 1, the non-negotiable need for control. One sign of relationship or connection manipulation is the non-negotiable need for control. All right, record it. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week or tomorrow. The non-negotiable need for control. Thank you, Victoria. First note for tonight. The non-negotiable need for control is the first clear sign of relationship or connection manipulation. In other words, if you are connected to somebody who refuses to be anything else but in control, you are clearly connected to a manipulator. And we get signs of this from the beginning, especially if we're talking about this in the dynamics of relationships. There are signs of this everywhere. If you meet a person and y'all are going to meet up, and I'm just using this as an example. You meet somebody, y'all are going to meet up and go out on a date, and that person does not even ask your input on where you're going to meet up and go, or what you like to eat or what you like to do. They just attempt to make all the plans and don't ask any input at all. You might is the keyword here, might be connected to a manipulator. Now, I say might for this reason. You might, ladies, be going out on a date with a guy and he may see not asking you anything but making the plans as an opportunity to show you leadership, right? So you got to be careful there. He might be using his willingness to make all the plans as a way of showing you, hey, I can take charge. I can take care of you. I can make sure you have a good time, right? So there is this caveat, but as a man, let me tell you the appropriate way to do it. I hope I've got some men on the live tonight. The appropriate way to do it is, if you're going to take that approach, say to her, listen, we're going to meet up, and I already through conversation have an idea of the types of foods you like, the types of settings you like to be in. And so I'm taking the liberty to go ahead and try to plan our day if that's okay with you. That way you are saying to her, I've heard your ideas. I've heard the things you like. I've created plans for us, but incorporated in the plans are your interests. Does this make sense at all? Is this making sense? Type church if it is. Okay. And so that's the better way to do it. But some of you have met people who literally didn't ask you for nothing. Hey, meet me here at this time. Y'all ain't talking about what you like. You could be allergic to peanut butter. They took you to a peanut butter restaurant. Like, they have asked you no questions. And it's a clear sign that we might be dealing with somebody who has to be in control. Here's another sign of this. And I'm still with sign number 1 when we're talking about control. You're going to know that control is an issue with a person when they struggle to go with an idea or a suggestion or a thought that they did not create. Right? This is important, right? Being nervous watching this and he hears, right? If you are dealing with someone who always has to have their ideas, their suggestions approved, the way to go, this is probably a little bit of a clear sign that you're dealing with someone who is a control freak, right? Who has to be in charge of the narrative, has to be in charge with plans, has to be in charge of direction. We see this sometimes, and I'm going to kind of deal with this with number 2, but I think this is a good way to kind of introduce this. You see this sometimes with people who talk over you. And this is why communication is so very important. And this is going to lead me to the second sign in just a second. Communication is so important because when you are confident and healed and whole and you show up in spaces as complete as possible, it doesn't matter when you are heard. You're just fine being heard whenever you're heard. Okay? It doesn't matter when you're heard. You don't have to go first. You don't mind going second. You don't have to go second. You don't mind going first. You understand that it's more important that everybody is heard versus only one person being heard, right? And we tend to see control issues there reflected in sometimes communication styles, which I'm going to come to that as number two. Here's the other thing that we see about control, and this is important. Y'all know how I feel about checking in with boyfriends and girlfriends. If you don't, let me just be very clear here. I don't believe boyfriends and girlfriends should be checking in and telling each other every single move that they make every single day. Now, I catch a lot of heat from this. You know, guys in this generation call me simps. It's so funny. Some guy was trying to go back and forth with me about an analogy I used. He said it wasn't clear enough. It was clear enough for about 4,000 of you, but it wasn't clear enough for him. And the reality of the matter is, when you get to a place of being healed and wholeness, you really have no desire to control anybody in any kind of way, right? I believe that the only people that should be sharing their every move, and I think I use every loosely because I don't even think it has to be every move, but the majority of the moves you make is when you get to engagement, marriage level. Boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, I've said in the video before, y'all stop telling your boyfriend that you getting ready to go to the bathroom. Stop telling your boyfriend you about to run to the grocery store, you be back. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong with letting them know where you are so that they can be not just aware of your surroundings, but out of care and concern and safety. There's nothing wrong with that. But some of y'all do it trying to be wives and you're not a wife yet. Some of you fellas do it trying to be husbands. You're not a husband yet. And the reality of the matter is, this is how manipulation starts in the relationship phase. It starts in the relationship phase through those subtle nuances. You went all day. You didn't call me all day. I was about to break up with you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Number one, we not married. Number two, I work a rough job. And our job in this phase of getting to know one another is trusting one another. And you cannot build trust where manipulation's present. That's a bar. I need somebody to type church with a bunch of R's. You cannot build trust where manipulation is present. If manipulation is involved, trust will not be present. Show me a relationship where there's a lot of manipulation, and I'll show you a relationship where people are checking each other's phones. Show me a relationship where a lot of manipulation is taking place, and I'll show you a relationship where people are feeling like they have to look over the shoulder of the other person. Trust and manipulation do not reside in the same space. Okay? So we got to be careful for that, fellas. And I'm especially talking to you because I believe if men are going to be men and leaders, and I believe in that, I'm a traditionalist. If you're not, just swipe off the live. But I believe that if men are going to lead a family and lead a household, lead children, then you got to be first partakers, meaning you got to set the example. You got to set the example. And you set the example by showing her what it's like to go where you say you're going to go and be where you say you're going to be. You set the example, men, by being a person of your word. You want to build trust? Here's free game. Moderators, get ready to put my Cash App up because somebody needs to hit my Cash App for this free game I'm about to give. Fellas, you want her to trust you? Honor your word. It ain't that hard. The quickest way to build trust from somebody is to honor your word. And when you don't honor your word, make sure you are you have zero problems with apologizing. You want to build trust? Honor your word. If you're going to do something and say you're going to do something, do it. And if you can't do it, let her know. And then let her know what the next plan is. Ladies, the same thing applies to you. The best way to build trust in a man is also to honor your word. It's to be a woman of your word, right? Not to just say things because they sound great. Women, I've discovered, sometimes tend to be love bombers. I know some of y'all ain't gonna like this, but because women are naturally inclined to want and desire love, you sometimes in the beginning of relationships, you will love bomb the death out of a relationship. But the reality of the matter is sometimes you are setting a standard and a tone and a pace for that relationship that you cannot sustain. And my thing is, if you're going to do it in the beginning, my grandma, deceased grandma, said it like this: whatever you do to get them, you got to do it to keep them. Whatever you do to get them, you got to do it to keep them. Which is why I told a client yesterday, in this season, y'all, you got to be even careful of how you get people. If you got people the wrong way, you're going to lose them the wrong way. You have to make sure you get people the right. And so if you're going to get people, ladies, if you're going to get men through love bombing, because y'all know how sometimes you get clingy and you get so sweet and you calling folks zaddy and doing all of this stuff and you doing all this stuff and you sending pictures and selfies. You're doing all of this stuff and you love bombing in the middle, in the beginning. And then 3 months in, you ain't called him zaddy in 3 whole weeks. And he just is lost because he don't understand what's going on. And that's because you have started something you cannot finish. And you got to be careful there, because that can lead to situations where control then becomes the outcome. Right? So if you're going to call him zaddy in week 2, which is why you ought to pause before you start calling names. Give it some time. Give it some time. The only exception to that rule, let me say this. The only exception to that rule is if you're healed and you meet a healed person. Let me tell you something. Let me help some of y'all get to the finish line fast. If you are a healed person and you meet another healed person, things might escalate a little quick. You know why? Because your energies are vibrating in the same space. You both healed. You both complete. And let me tell you something. A healed person can spot an unhealed person a mile away. Like you literally, like gremlins scream when water comes. Healed people are literally repelled from unhealed people. Like you can meet people and it gives you the EBGBs. For real. But when two healed people connect, oh yeah, y'all might be calling each other zaddy by week 1. Because healed recognizes healed. Whole recognizes whole. Complete recognizes complete. Substance recognizes substance. Right? And so I'm saying to you, the only exception to that zaddy rule within the first 1 to 3 weeks is if you meet a healed person. You meet a healed person, she might be calling you fellas zaddy. You might be like, what's up? What's up, honey lips? because you're both healed, right? You're both healed. You're both at a place. And I agree with that. Shan, ooh, that's a good one. Shan 3810. What about hurt recognizes hurt? Hurt not only recognizes hurt, but let me tell you what's so dangerous about hurt recognizing hurt. When hurt recognizes hurt and they connect, guess what they create? Toxic relationships. A toxic relationship is nothing more than the joining of two hurt people. Let me just make this plain tonight. When two hurt people, two unhealed people, two unwhole people connect, it creates toxicity. I see trauma bonding coming. That's exactly right. We get toxic relationships because people are bound not by their strengths, they're bound by their weaknesses. They're bound not by the positives, they are bound by the problems that they have. And so one wound connects with another wound, right? And so you got to be careful with that. Hurt can bind to hurt, just like heal can bind to heal, right? But I want to just be very clear there, all right? If two healed people connect, things might escalate a little bit faster, and that's okay. They should both be healed enough to know what's what, okay? Now, here's the second sign of relationship or connection manipulation. Second sign is this. Right, tap the screen, hit the share button. Y'all, I need about 100 more shares. Can we get to 200 shares? Can y'all do that? If you have not shared the video, will you hit the share button for me and hit that like button? I would really appreciate it. And thank you for those of you that are making donations. I appreciate it. My Cash App. I really appreciate that. Second clear sign of relationship or connection manipulation is this. You ready? Selective communication skills. This is y'all's free coaching counseling session for the week every Thursday. Selective communication skills. The second clear sign of relationship or connection manipulation is selective communication skills. Can I say this to you? I told a client this week who was sharing with me, and let me be clear here. This should go without saying. Lord, sometimes these comments really just, I know I'm in a heal place, because there was a day I would just go back and forth with people, and I don't have the energy, the strength, or the interest. Yes, the live replay is going to be on my YouTube tomorrow at Zeb the Third. Tomorrow we're going to start doing that every Friday until we switch over everything to YouTube and the podcast. This should go without saying. When I share stories on my channel, and I say my client, sharing a story, I always ask my clients for permission. That's just an ethical thing that you do in this kind of work. I didn't think I had to explain that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that just want an explanation for everything, right? So I didn't think I had to explain that, but I thought that was common sense in my world. And sometimes common sense ain't common. So I always get client permission when I say things like my client, right? I'll take notes. If you've ever been in a session with me, I always say, hey, can I share expert excerpts of what we talk about with the public or on my shows? Obviously not giving out identifying information. That would make it a HIPAA violation, all of that stuff. So you wouldn't know these clients. I've got clients from Germany, got a first client today from Puerto Rico, and just clients everywhere. But let me say this. I had a client that I told this week who was saying to me that she's involved with a gentleman who only communicates and like to communicate on his terms, right? He only wants to have in-depth conversations on his own terms. And I'm here to tell you, Puerto Rico's in the house. Thank you so much. I'm here to tell you, if you are connected to somebody who only wants to talk when they want to talk, that's manipulation 101. I want to say this again. I need to see some churches. If you are connected to someone who only wants to talk or discuss things on their terms, that is manipulation 101. You'll never win a disagreement with them. They will never see your point of view. They will never be open to your ideas or your input, because they have a very much a one-sided, lopsided communication style. And they typically only communicate well, this is important, when it matters to them or when it validates them. I want to say this again. People who are like that and very narcissistic in nature, right? There's a lot of connections with manipulation and narcissism you're going to hear tonight. Very good pickup to the viewer that said that. When a person has selective communication skills, they only do it well. They only communicate well when it matters to them or when it validates them. If it doesn't matter to them, if it doesn't validate them, they don't want to communicate. I get this like, well, Doc, my boyfriend's a really sweet guy, but sometimes he just shuts down and I can't make him talk and I can't get him to explain to me how he feels and he just needs some time to cool down. I'm not talking about needing time to cool down, right? Needing time to cool down is one thing. I'm talking about people where you have an issue, something you need to resolve, and they don't want to talk about it except for it being on their terms. And people who only want to communicate with you on their terms are manipulative. Now, ladies, I love you, but you know what's about to come. White meat alert. I'm about to bust you down to the white meat. You ready? Ladies, I love you. But ladies, a lot of times, especially when you're upset, sometimes you have a tendency to shut down, not want to talk, not want to be bothered, leave me alone, get out of my face, stuff like that. And you got to be careful with that, because if you do that too much, you will very much come across as one of those people who has selective communication skill, meaning you only want to talk about issues when you're at a place where it feels good to you. And I'm here to tell you, you cannot always be in that space. Again, I get needing to cool down. I'm not talking about needing to cool down. But what I'm talking about is you only want to have an argument or a conversation when you want to talk about something, when you feel like talking about something, when you feel like discussing something, and you got to be careful there. Now, I see a very good comment. I want to mention this. Uniquely Stitched, thank you. I do that to avoid an argument. Let me say this to you. Remember this tonight. There are levels, y'all, to growth. Listen to me. Lord knows I was tested a couple times this week. There are levels to growth. And I want to say this out loud because I hear some of you saying, well, I only do that because I want to avoid an argument. Would you believe me if I told you there's such a thing as being so healed that you can talk about anything at any time? I don't see a lot of churches here. There's a level to being healed where literally you can have a conversation at any time and your energy and your peace is so stable that it does not matter when the time is. You don't need a breather because you always balanced. This is why, y'all, I talk to y'all. How do I get there? Good. I'm glad you asked. I talk to y'all about my routine all the time. I know you're tired of hearing it. Who can remember what time I get up every morning? Anybody remember that? Let me see if I got any viewers that remember what time I get up every single morning. Not you, moderator. Of course, you know. 4:08 a.m. I get up every morning. My routine is simple. I pray, I use the restroom, and then I meditate. I sit in the dark and on my couch with my blanket over me and my favorite hat, because it's getting cool in here, on my head for 30 minutes with my eyes closed and just think about my thoughts. That's it. It is the most peaceful time of my day. The only days, not on my days off. I do it Monday through Friday religiously. I do meditate on Saturdays, Sundays as well. Some Sundays I may take off, but 4:08 strict, Monday through Friday is strict. Some Saturdays I might sleep to maybe 5 or 6. Some Sundays maybe 5, 6 or 7. That meditation, y'all, really calms your nerves. It really teaches you how to be active in the present, not to get too high, not to get too low, not to be easily shook up. So literally, why the '08? Let me explain this quickly. You see my thing start at '08 because I believe in the significance of numbers. The number 8 is significant of new beginnings. So when I say the live is going to start at 9:08, I'm suggesting to you that the information you're going to receive is going to create some new beginnings for your life. Okay. I get up at 4:08, right? The suggestion for me is that when I get up at 4:08 in the morning, I am getting ready to have a new beginning to a new day, right? May not mean anything to anybody else. I believe in that, right? Everything I do about my life is very intentional. Okay. So that's what the '08 is all about. But let me just say this to you. When you really are operating in a healed place for real, y'all, I'm here to tell you, and 7 is completion. I love it. When you're really operating in a healed and complete place, you can have an argument at any time. You can have a disagreement at any time. Why? Because you're not going to fly off the handle. Like people can come at you, people can challenge you, people can say whatever. But when you are healed and whole and been doing the work daily, it's hard to be rattled. That's why I want to say to y'all, there are levels to healing. There are levels to wholeness. I can't remember the last time I got worked up and mad. I can't. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this because I want God to allow a situation to come for me to get mad. Lord knows I don't. Lord knows I don't. But I can't remember the last time I really got worked up over anything. I'm serious. And sometimes it comes across to people as nonchalant. It's not that. I'm just in a calm and very peaceful and healed place in my life where I'm not getting worked up. My favorite word is unbothered. If there was a word to describe my personality besides funny, don't I wish I was Dave Chappelle funny. Besides funny and nice and smart and fine and all of that stuff, I wish I was. The word that I would use is unbothered. It's just hard to get me worked up. I just don't get worked over stuff. And so this is what I'm saying to all of you. I want you to work on that, right? So that you don't allow, and I like it. Hey, one of my clients is on. I'm not going to reveal, but she's on. Good to see you, my friend. I don't get worked up over stuff. I don't. Like, I'm too much of in a healed and whole place. My life feels so complete right now that I'm just not letting anything work me up. And that's where I want y'all to get worked up to, okay? That's where I want you to grow to. But again, selective communication skills is clearly a sign of connection, relationship manipulation. When people only want to discuss things on their terms, they only want to work on things on their terms, or they only want to fix things or address things when it validates them. You got to be careful. You need to run the other direction, okay? All right? Here's the third clear sign of relationship connection manipulation. And then I'm going to give you 3 ways you can regain control. And then I'll answer some questions and I'm done. Okay. And I like that. Somebody said there's a difference between unbothered and inattentive. Right. I'm very attentive, but I'm just not shaken. Not at all. All right. Here's the third clear sign of relationship or connection manipulation. What's the difference between unbothered and nonchalant? Simple. When you're nonchalant, you don't care. When you're unbothered, you don't carry. That's a free bar. Y'all need my Cash App, $Zep the third. When you nonchalant, you don't care. When you're unbothered, you don't carry. I've got an apparel line. Many people ask about my t-shirts a lot. I've got an apparel line coming, and one of my favorite t-shirts says, I care, I don't carry. When you're nonchalant, you don't care. When you're unbothered, you don't carry, meaning you care, you're just not carrying nothing that don't belong to you. $Zep the third if you need it. The third clear sign of relationship or connection manipulation is this. Extreme self-centeredness. Extreme self-centeredness. Y'all, this is going to be good. Extreme self-centeredness. A person who operates in extreme self-centeredness is operating in manipulation. Is operating in high manipulation. Yes, extreme. I'm going to talk about why it has to be extreme, right? Because sometimes you do have to put yourself first. And oftentimes people mistake putting yourself first as being self-centered, and it doesn't necessarily mean the same. So I say extreme self-centered because these are people who historically want everything to be about them. This is how, believe it or not, we plant manipulation into our children. Parents, if you're a parent, one of the worst things you can do for your children is make everything concerning their life about you. Listen to me. One of the worst things you can do as a parent is make everything about their life about you. And parents do this so often. Y'all, some of y'all, I hate to put it this way, but some of you, some of the trauma you're dealing with in your life, not feeling like you're enough, not feeling like you're worthy, not feeling like you're good enough, not feeling like anything you do is acceptable, was really a seed that was planted by your parents that set these standards for you. There's nothing wrong with setting standards for your kids. I have standards for mine. You better believe it. You can ask them. We don't play about things in my house, certain things in my house, but the standards aren't so rigid that I make their life about me. It ain't my life, it's theirs. because I don't want them growing up and living the rest of their lives feeling like they have to please everybody else but them. And people, when we plant this seed in our children, they grow up to become easy victims of manipulation. Your children can grow up to become easy victims of manipulation when they have been handled by their parents or guardians in a way where everything they did had to be about pleasing the parent. I know y'all don't like this. I know. And some of you Christians and folk, well, the Bible said honor your mother and father. It says honor them. It didn't say be a slave to them. And it also says, since you're going to quote Bible for me, it also says that parents should not provoke their children to anger. The same book. Right? I hate when people hit me with selective Bible. There's another side of that. And it says, don't provoke your children to anger. And we provoke our children to pass in their life by trying to make them live the life we want them to live. It doesn't mean you let your children do what they want to do. Some of y'all so extreme. I'm not saying be extreme, but hear me. Everything they do should not be about pleasing you. Everything they do should not be about pleasing you. And if it is, you're setting them up to become victims of manipulation. Or, watch this, y'all. You ready? Drum roll. You're actually setting them up to become manipulators. Because when they get old enough and of age where they can make their own decisions, they're going to turn around in their relationships or with their children, and they're going to give to them what they received. So they turn around and give out what they received as children. Which is why you ask my children, they'll tell you, my children live a great life. They're spoiled. I'm good with that. They make A's and B's. It wouldn't be no other way in my house. That's the standard here. But they will also tell you, we have rules, we have responsibilities, they have chores, they have those things. But at the same token, I think done decent of being able to provide discipline, but also being able to provide support and love and correction. This is so important, y'all. Okay. And so we got to be very careful there. I like that. Sade, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm spoiled, but I'm also a manipulator. I think more people are guilty of manipulation than what would admit it. But we got to be careful in not planting that into our children. Right. And if that was planted in you, good. I see the question. You saw where I was going. How do we start to change it? I'm going to give you some ways you can change that in a second. Okay. But you got to be careful of people who make everything all about them. Right. Here's another sign of manipulation, y'all. Sometimes it shows up in friendships. Let me tell you something that's a pet peeve of mine. I hate being around one-up people. Y'all know what one-up people are? Have you ever been around a one-up person, meaning y'all are hanging out, maybe you're out to dinner, you're watching a fight, you go out, whatever, you're traveling, doesn't matter, and you tell a story, and instead of them just appreciating what you just told, they'd be like, well, let me tell you what happened to me. let me tell you about what happened to me. And they always have a one-up. Let me tell you something. Better be careful of people like that. I ain't calling them manipulators, but I am saying that is a very clear sign of self-centeredness. And self-centeredness can very much lead to manipulation. And it's very annoying. Like, there's enough microphones for all of us to get a turn. Right? Let somebody else have their moment and stop trying to steal their thunder. I mean, and it's bad. Like, you can give somebody a compliment. Man, I really like the suit he got on. Yes, all right, man, but I got a suit, man. That suit is nice, but I got a suit, man, that I got made in Italy, and it'll blow that suit out the water. Dude, can you just enjoy that man's suit right there? Like, we know you get your clothes custom and from Italy, but can you just enjoy somebody else's suit, please? Self-centeredness is almost always a sign of manipulation. Okay? So things have to always be about them. And we sometimes, especially in meeting people, we see signs from the beginning. Look, y'all learn how to pick up on subtle things when you meet people. When you meet people, pay attention to how they handle the ebbs and flow of a conversation. Are they over talking you the whole time? Are you meeting somebody and you can't get 2 or 3 sentences in before they take 5 or 6 minutes to tell a story, and then you get 2 or 3 sentences and they take another 5 or 6 minutes? Pay attention to that. Those are subtle signs of self-centeredness. I know. Doc, that's a little harsh. You mean tell me if a person talks a lot, they're self-centered? Not necessarily, but in that context, they very much could be. It could be nervousness. That's fair. That's fair. But the way to circumvent nervousness is not talking. The way to circumvent nervousness is to learn how to ask good questions and be quiet. Now, let me just be honest with you, because I see it not talking at all. I'm also an interviewer by trade, right? I got my start in professional and career development. So teaching people how to navigate the job market, I've got professional training in that. And let me tell you, I'm a great interviewer. I can ask great questions to get a conversation going, right? I have to be able to do that for what I do. And let me tell you something, y'all, especially fellas. I'm going to get in trouble when I say this, and many of you ladies may not admit it, but it's the truth. It's going to take a real G to type church after I say what I say. Fellas, here's some more free game. You need the Cash App, hit it up. Sign up for group work this Saturday. We got a few more slots. Fellas, ladies, for real, especially if they like you, they love to talk. I don't see no hearts. I don't see no fellas talking about church. I thank you, ladies. Jay is the first honest one. Here's Sade. She's honest. Betty Boo, thank you. Ladies love to talk, especially if they like you. And fellas, you mess the game up because you coming across, when you meet somebody, you come across very self-centered, because when you meet her, you doing all the talking. You talking her to death. I swear to you. Where was I? What restaurant was I at? Oh man, this was Sunday. Where did I eat Sunday? That's where it was. I went and got sushi. I was getting sushi Sunday, and man, 2 tables over, this guy, clearly they were on a first date. You could tell because, they were kind of both acting a little awkward. But you know what was so funny? He was talking her to death. And I was like, over in the corner, like, trying to get his attention, like, hey, bro, ask a question, shut up. Ask a question, cut it off. Because ladies, fellas, if she really like you, all you got to do is ask the right questions. She will talk you to death. Ladies who are interested in you love to tell you about their day, love to tell you about their likes, what they don't like. And fellas, y'all just be talking, just talking and talking. And so you got to be careful not to come across, ladies and men, as self-centered. And then I think also, ladies, even though you enjoy talking, I think it's powerful also when you can be open enough to ask him questions, right? He's taking the lead of allowing you to talk and really get to know you, but then you pause. I think it's incredibly attractive for a woman to then pause that and say, but enough about me. Tell me a little bit about, what you like to do. That's incredibly attractive to a whole man, because a whole man is not used to that. Ladies, I'm giving y'all game. You need that Cash App? Y'all need to be hit. Y'all owe me. Your next date night is going to be amazing. Just apply this stuff, right? A whole man, a healed man loves for a lady to just stop in her tracks. I've been talking. Well, how has your day been? What do you like doing? What do you enjoy? I'm telling you, a healed man gets off on that because he recognizes then that you understand that everything isn't about you either. Okay? All right? So who talks more is a sign possibly, right? That you might want to watch out for. That could lead to this. Now, the way to stop manipulation is by removing their hands and removing their control. All right? The way to stop manipulation is by removing their hands and removing their control. In other words, We regain control by resetting boundaries. This is real quick. I got to give you this quick. Then I'm going to open it up for 10 minutes of Q&A, and then I'm done. We regain control from a manipulator, because the topic was how to stop manipulation. Oh, by the way, I need 59 more likes or 59 more shares. Can y'all do this for me real quick? 59 more shares. Hit that share button. Hurry. We regain control from a manipulator by resetting boundaries. If you want to reset boundaries or stop a manipulator, you do it by resetting boundaries. All right? How do you reset the boundaries with a manipulator? Here are 3 ways, real practical, real easy. You're reaping the benefits of your free coaching session tonight. You reset the boundaries with a manipulator, right? Because we're going to reset boundaries with a manipulator in order to get control, right? They have control because their hands are on it. So we have to take their hands off of it. We take their hands off of it by resetting boundaries. We take the hands of a manipulator off of our lives by resetting our boundaries with them. So we remove their hand from our lives. How do we do it? Here are 3 ways. Number 1, identify what you need and want. Come on, y'all. Y'all writing this down, recording it? This is good. Identify what you need and want. This is 3 ways you can reset boundaries with a manipulator. Number 1, identify what you need and want. In other words, before you address anything with anybody, you got to know what your negotiables are. You got to know what your non-negotiables are. You heard me talk about that in my video today. If you didn't, go check it out, where I talked about the burning house. This is for those of you that have stayed with people because you got kids with them and you're fearful of leaving because, oh, I got kids and my kids need to grow up around their parent and all of this stuff. But the person you're with is abusive. They're not healthy. They're none of this stuff. They cheated. They did all this stuff. Wait a minute. You're in a burning house with kids who are consuming carbon monoxide because you're keeping them there. You have to be able to identify your needs and wants. And we can't reset boundaries until we understand what we need and what we want. So this is where journaling is so important, y'all. You have to understand the impact of writing out. Here are the things I need in relationships, my non-negotiables. Here are the things I want in my relationships, friendships, right? A need is not a want. A want is it would be nice to have. A need is something you cannot function without, right? And so you got to write down your list of 10, 15 things you cannot function without when it comes to your relationships, your connections with people in whatever situation or circumstance. And then you write out your 10, 15 wants, right? Maybe that's too much. 5 to 10 wants. 15 to 20 needs. Needs should be greater than wants. When wants are greater than needs, you end up in toxic up and down roller coaster relationships, right? You want them to be tall, bald-headed, handsome, bearded. You want her to be shaped, nice 22-piece, all of this stuff. And it's all wants, and it's not based on needs. And so your relationships become very surface, superficial. They don't last long. Did I say 22-piece? Right? They don't last long. Right? So you don't want them to be rooted in wants. You want what you want to be rooted in needs. Okay? All right. So number 1, you regain control by resetting boundaries. How? Number 1, you identify what you want and need. Here's number 2. This is big. The second thing you do is you clearly communicate your needs and wants. This is practical, y'all. You clearly communicate your needs and wants. So number 1, we identify what we need and want. Number 2, we clearly communicate what we need and want. Because here's the disconnect, y'all. And I need some people to be honest here in Type Church. Some of you have held people accountable for needs and wants that you never communicated. Come on, y'all. This is so basic. Some of you have held people accountable for needs and wants you never communicated. So in other words, you expected people to show up in ways you never communicated to them and got upset when they didn't show up the way you wanted them to. Doesn't work that way. You can't hold people accountable because they don't show up the way you want them to when you never communicated which way you need them to show up. Right? We can't do that. So once you have identified, oh, I saw that question. Hold on, Lexi, I'm coming to you. I'm going to stop the comments because I'm going to come to that. Because your question is going to free somebody tonight. Once we identify what we need and want, we have to clearly communicate it. Now, Lexi Joy asked a powerful question. How do you communicate with a narcissist who's trying to change and doing the work? How do you communicate with a narcissist who's trying to change and doing the work? I will say this to you. If they're trying to change and do the work, then I think you have to allow them in many ways to lead in that communication. The reason why I say that is because if a narcissist is saying to you they're doing the work and trying to change, the only way you're going to know it is not by them saying they're doing the work. You're going to know it by the examples of the change. This is so important, right? Because doing the work, much like so many things like masculinity, femininity, it's so much of a buzzword and phrase today that people are saying they're doing work and they're really not doing the work. If a narcissist, if you're connected to a narcissist who's saying they're trying to change and doing the work, then they need to be leading by showing you how that change is evident. Okay? If they are narcissists, you should, and they're not trying to change and do the work, you shouldn't be communicating with them at all. Because you're walking a very thin rope by communicating with a narcissist what you need. Because a narcissist will hear what you need and use what you need against you. Y'all, I'm going to do a live on narcissism real soon. Did y'all hear what I said? A narcissist will hear what you need and then turn around and use what you need against you. It's crazy. And then it gets so wild that you will start questioning how healed you are and start thinking you're crazy based on their response to you. Like a narcissist will have you thinking you're not healed when you were. Like you don't communicate with a narcissist. Just don't. Because it's like ever walked into a spider web? If you've ever walked into a spider web, that's like communicating with a narcissist, right? Your face goes into it. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have to use that as an analogy. Your face goes into it, and then you are out the spider web, but then you walk like 10 steps and you still feel strings on you. Right? You still, like you were out the spider web 30 seconds ago, but you still feel strings on you. That's what communicating with a narcissist is like. So for those of you that are trying to communicate your needs and wants to a narcissist, stop. Stop. You have to let that narcissist either heal and grow and get the work done, or you've got to disconnect. I don't care what nobody says. I'm probably going to get drained by saying what I'm about to say. I'm about to give you the third thing now. I'm going to probably get dragged by saying what I'm about to say. But y'all, I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any harm. Even if a narcissist says that they are doing the work and trying to heal, still be careful. Still be careful. Yes, a narcissist can heal. Absolutely. Absolutely can heal. But even if a narcissist says to you they are healing and doing the work, be careful. Narcissists are master manipulators. I'm not saying they are lying, but Lord knows nobody lies better than a narcissist. Did y'all hear what I said? Nobody lies better than a narcissist. Be careful. I'm not saying they're lying. I don't know them. I don't know who you're dealing with. But what I am saying to you is narcissists are master manipulators. They're master liars. They can tell a lie and really have you thinking crazy stuff about them, about you, about people, about whatever. And I'm just saying the best way to avoid all of that is just let them be. And just tell them, look, when you get your act together for real, you can come around me. And because I'm healed, I can figure it out whether or not you truthful or not. But I prefer you just go on and just heal and just move on. Okay? So you got to clearly communicate your needs and wants. That's so important, right? You can't assume that people know what you need. You have to communicate those needs so that people know. I need 9 more likes, y'all. 9 more shares. Here's the third way you regain control by resetting boundaries. The third way you regain control by resetting boundaries is this. Accept nothing short of what you expect. You should accept nothing short of what you expect. Accept nothing short of what you expect. So you have identified what you need and want. You have clearly communicated your needs and wants. And the third thing you must do is accept nothing short of what you expect. Because here's the problem. If you identify your needs and want to communicate them to a manipulator, and then you accept the bare minimum, and they don't even meet your standards, they have no incentive to change. They have no incentive to grow. They have no incentive to be better today than what they were yesterday. Y'all hear me say it in every video. They have no incentive to change because you are letting them get away with the bare minimum. And y'all, I hate to break the news to you, but some of y'all are walking around like you got A's when people are giving you D treatment. Some of you are walking around acting like you making A's when people are giving you F treatment. What's average? See, some of you are walking around like you got A's when people are giving you C or average treatment at best. Some of you are walking around thinking you got a 10 in somebody and they acting like 2s. And that's because you're accepting the bare minimum. And when you accept the bare minimum, it is impossible to reset a boundary with a manipulator. You got to literally draw the line in the sand and say, this is what I expect. And if you don't meet this line, it's not going to work. Now, hear me. Hear me. Hear me. Hear me, y'all. I don't want to be offensive, but just hear me. The best way, y'all, to set the expectation of what you expect is to do it from a healed place. Because when you set expectations from a healed place, your expectations are reasonable. Y'all, that's a bar. Y'all need my Cash App again. $Zeb the third. Y'all not paying me. This is free coaching tonight. When you set the expectations from a healed place, expectations are reasonable. And some of you have attempted to set expectations from a hurt place, and you got people jumping hurdles that really ain't got nothing to do with them, and it's got everything to do with your wounds. Y'all, is this making sense to anybody? It has everything to do with your wounds. And you got to stop doing that. You set better expectations for people when you're at a healed place. So some of you don't need to identify your needs and wants, clearly communicate nothing until you first heal. Heal. When you heal, then write out your needs and wants. Because a set of needs and wants from a healed place is going to be different than a set of needs and wants from a hurt place. When you hurt, you want to feel better. And based on wanting to feel better, that will determine what your needs and wants might look like. When you heal, feeling better ain't that big a deal because you're good. It's about what you really need and what you really want. Then you can communicate it, and then you won't be positioned to accept nothing short of it because you know that your expectations are reasonable. Let me give you an example of a reasonable expectation from a healed person. A reasonable expectation from a healed person is mutual respect. More free game if y'all need it. Mutual respect is a reasonable expectation from a healed person. When you healed, expecting somebody to show you the same respect you give to them is reasonable. So then if a person does not respect you the way you're respecting them, that's the line that they ain't crossing. And then that's at the place where you should no longer tolerate it. See, we set reasonable expectations when we're from a healed place or in a healed place. Okay? We set reasonable expectations when we're there because we don't accept anything short of what we deserve. All right? Y'all, did this make sense? If it did, I want you to type church in the comments with as many R's as you can. Does this make sense, y'all? Listen, I got 10:44 Eastern time. I'm drinking Pellegrino water. If anybody wants to send me some cases, because I love it. Pellegrino mineral water. I love it. Type church as many comments as you can. While you're doing that, because I'm about to open up the comments for questions. I want to take questions for about the next 10 minutes. I'll answer as many as I can in 10 minutes. If you have not registered for group work, moderators, drop the link in the comments. I've got some more slots open for group coaching this Saturday, where I'm going to have all of you on the line. You're going to be able to come on the screen. If you want to cut on your camera, you can. Nobody wanted to cut on their camera at the last group session or group work. Everybody came on, but they had their camera off. But you can cut on your camera or leave it off, and you can ask the question that you want. And it's a 90-minute session. It's a best way. How do you sign up? The link, there's the link. Click on that link. I've got some more slots left. I might have about 12 or 13 more slots left, something like that. And then once we're full, we're full. But sign up for that. That's a quick way to be able to ask your question to me directly. You're going to do it among a community of people. So that's powerful. You're going to feel that support of other people around you. And we're going to go through a back and forth to do it. Obviously, I can't give everybody 30 minutes per question. But we can certainly do it, and I can give you some direct feedback, and it's going to be powerful. And I had even people be on the group work who had no questions at all. They literally were on there to learn from others, and I got some feedback. Hey, Doc, I didn't ask any questions, but everything I heard, there were so many things I heard that were relevant to my life. And that's what it's all about. It's at noon on Saturday. All right? Noon on Saturday. Okay? And that's this Saturday, group work, and that's that. Can you repeat the free grain quote on not carrying? Yes. No, I'm not going to repeat that because it's coming up on my shirt. No, I'm not going to do that, Shahara. It's coming. Yes, that's Eastern time. Eastern time. I should have a merchandise announcement quickly. Sign up. The link is in my bio. Again, moderators, put the link up if you would. We'll just keep running that link. Because people want to sign up. We've got a couple of more slots. I've capped it at 50. That will allow me to get through all of those questions in 90 minutes. So it's rapid pace. But it's this Saturday from noon. It's 90 minutes in length. And so I want you to tune in and be a part of it. All right. Questions. 9 minutes. Let's go for questions. All right, let me go. When you said mutual respect, is that kind of like meeting each other in the middle? Yes. Mutual respect is about meeting people in the middle without a doubt, in all things. What do you think about international dating? Nothing wrong with that. You can date internationally. You can date other people from other countries. Long distance relationships work best with healed people. If you're not healed, date somebody in your area. Listen to me. If you're not healed, don't get no long distance relationship. It's a recipe for disaster. If you're not healed, you need to date somebody in your zip code. You have any openings for 101s? I am, Sade, about 2 months behind. My next opening for 101s are in July. I took my first appointment today for August. So I'm really backed up there. How often do you do group sessions? Twice a month. So I'll be announcing the June dates next week. So you can go ahead and sign up for June dates, but I do that twice a month on Saturdays. I am working on healing. How do I know I'm on the right track? How do I start? Here's the thing. You all know this. If you've tuned in, the 5 areas you should focus on are what? Emotional healing, mental healing, spiritual healing, financial healing, physical healing. So emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, financial. Those are the areas you want to tackle. And you want to become as whole and complete in those areas as you can. When you put them all together, you're going to feel like a more complete person. Okay. Thank you so much, moderators. Unhealed equals date locally. Absolutely. What are questions you can ask to see if they are healed? That's a great question. You can ask people what they're doing to work on themselves from a personal development perspective on a daily basis. Because people who are healed for real do something every single day that speaks to their personal development. And it might just be, eating lunch without their phone and just enjoying lunch. It might be journaling. It might be reading something daily. It might be working on something related to a passion they have. Some healed people do something that works on their healing daily. All right. And so ask them, hey, what are you doing to work on your personal development? What are you doing to become a better person? Like, what's the last book you read? And when they tell you that book, ask them, what are you doing to apply the contents of that book to your life? Give me an example of it. All right. These are in-depth questions, right? People can't just BS you around. They got to be able to answer those questions the right way. How can you know if your man is not emotionally mature? By their responses to adversity, by the way in which they handle you when things get difficult, by their communication style, without a doubt, by their ability to accept criticism. Ladies, I hate to tell y'all this, but I just read my comments. Y'all dating a whole lot of emotional immature dudes. They don't like feedback. And let me tell you something. If a man can't be corrected, he can't lead. There's more free game. Ladies, if a man cannot be corrected by another man or by you, he can't lead. I know y'all ain't like that. I know y'all didn't like that. My thoughts on narcissism in ministry, it's very rampant. There are more narcissists in ministry and pulpits than you would believe. And it's crazy. But it's hard to minister from a narcissistic space. It is, because everything is about you. And ministry is the place where everything actually should be the opposite. Nothing should really be about you. Should you really date if you're not healed, especially if you have trust issues? Absolutely not. I don't believe in that. If you're not healed, take a break. Take a break. And for that break should be a reflection of how long you have been hurt. Right? Or how long you have had your trust issues. So take a break. If you're not healed, you do not need to date right now. If he can't be corrected, he can't be directed. I like that. Yeah, y'all are letting some of these men lead. And I swear, ladies, I ain't gonna lie. I feel sorry for some of y'all, because I just look at the comments and the stuff that they say to me, calling me a simp because I'm telling them to be responsible. The mindset of today's man, unfortunately, is really in trouble. And men, let me just tell you, if you just got your game 80% correct, you can almost have what you want today. I'm just telling you what I know. Good. Yeah, it is a big time projection. I like that, Alicia. She said it's projection. I agree. How do you deal with someone that's more emotional than logical? Great question. If a person is more emotional than logical, it depends on, in my opinion, this is my humble opinion, their gender. Remember, if you have not read the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, you need to read that book. Because a lot of the things that I talk about when it comes to masculine energy, feminine energy, how men should show up in relationships, how women should show up in relationships, how men should show up in friendships, how women should show up in friendships, is rooted in this science, this real science that says men are from Mars, women are from Venus, i.e., we think differently. Men tend to be more logical, women tend to be more emotional. So if that man is being more emotional than logical, he is not operating in what he has been designed to be. Which means, ladies, if you're in a relationship with a man who's always in his feelings, you're going to be wearing the pants. I don't expect no lights right here, no churches. Ladies, if you're dealing with a man that's always in his feelings, you're going to be wearing the pants. And if that's what you want to do and he's with it, wear on. Go on. Wear on. But ain't nothing more messed up than a feminine woman who wants to connect with a masculine man and he be more in his emotions than she is. Ladies, the flip side is true. I'm getting ready to get in trouble. Ladies, ain't nothing more toxic than for you to be connected to a masculine man who is leading, who is strong and healthy, leading in his logic, and you trying to match him. Why don't you be feminine and receive? Uh-oh. I don't expect a lot of churches here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at there. One church from Princess. That's it. Ain't that something? Can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. All right. Right. Yeah, we're going to have to do some more lives on this masculine feminine energy. Yes. Find the book Heal Scars Hayes. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Multiple New York Times bestseller. Khadijah said, can I please wear a skirt? Absolutely. Around a masculine man, you absolutely can. Please wear a skirt and let it be nice fitting. Amen. All right. People don't like to be corrected in accountability, so they blame their zodiac sign. Yeah, I hate that crap too, by the way. Folk put everything on zodiac signs, and it's so wild out here. Any more questions? No, a bunch of churches. Good. So I must be teaching all right. Are there more women doing the personal work than men? If so, what's the chance of finding healed men? Tori, you're absolutely right. Most of my clients are women. It's not because I pander. Y'all are believing in self-development. I mean, it's just the truth. Y'all believe in self-development. Men don't. Men don't want to hear from me unless my name is Kevin Samuels. And the reality of the matter is, I'm just as honest as Kevin Samuel is, but my approach is just a little different. That's all. So they call me a panderer and a simp. Men don't want to do this work. But I'm telling you, there are some people out here, some men out here that are doing this work. I've got some clients out here that are men. I've got a few clients that are men that are doing this work. And, it's got me wanting to do a matchmaker show for real, where I can get some men on here that's doing some work with some women that's doing some work and see if I can make some matches. Now, I ain't the love doctor, but it's got me wanting to do that. And I don't know if I want to get in that business for real. Though I think it would make for good entertainment. Look at y'all talking about something. Yes, match me up. Right. Y'all not about that life. Y'all wouldn't dare do it. Y'all talking this mess, but women wouldn't get on that show. Men will get on here to meet y'all, but women are not going to get on here and do that if I do that. Y'all not going to do it. Right, Brittany? That's why you laughing, because you know Brittany Kristen, you know you ain't going to do it. You know it. All right? So, yeah. Any other questions? I've got 10:56, y'all. It's time to go. Any other questions? I hope I've answered most of them I saw coming through. I try to catch. It's hard to do it this way. This is so funny. Yes, but if it doesn't work out, then they're gonna they're gonna point a finger at me, and I'm just not liable. I'm gonna make you sign a waiver. If it don't work, then it ain't my fault. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Number 3. I'm sorry. The 3 clear signs of relationship or connection manipulation. I'm assuming. Number 1, non-negotiable need for control. Number 2, selective communication skills. Number 3, extreme self-centeredness. Okay? Extreme self-centeredness. All right? That's number 3. All right? Jamel, WMS32, my man, I appreciate you. It's always good to see men on here. Always try to shout them out. Sir, have you seen Kendra G? There are so many women on that show looking for Mr. Right. I don't know who Kendra G is. People are starting to bring people names up as my channel has really been kind of moving. I don't know who Kendra G is. If you got a clip or something, just DM it to me. I'd be happy to take a look at it. But yeah, eventually I'm going to be doing live shows, and I don't think it's going to go into matchmaking. I think it would just be too much chaos, but it will be live Q&As, similar to like talk shows used to be. And so that's going to be coming up real soon. She's a matchmaker on Instagram and Facebook. Wow, I never heard about that. For real. She's a Chicago radio host. Cool deal. Never heard of her, but definitely sounds like interesting things. Again, somebody said one more time. She's on YouTube as well. Non-negotiable need for control, selective communication skills, extremely self-centered, the way you regain control from a manipulator, you identify your needs and wants, clearly communicate your needs and wants, accept nothing short than what you need. Advice for dealing, last question. Advice for dealing with a co-parent that goes MIA because I set boundaries. The best advice to give you, my friend, is to remember you got to be an example for the kid. The reality of the matter is, especially when you've got small kids, you do yourself a disservice by matching energy in that space. Don't match energy in that space. You do what's best for the kids. You maintain yourself as a mature adult, and as an example. And this is one thing that I know about kids to be true. I've seen it happen so many times. When you do that, when kids get old enough, they are paying attention right now. Number one, they're paying attention. But when they get old enough, they're going to acknowledge who the adult and the grown-up was in the situation. They're going to acknowledge it. You don't have to trash the other person. You don't have to talk down on them. You don't have to talk about them. You don't have to throw off on them. Kids, I like that, Lexi, are very, very, very intuitive. They paying attention when you think they're not. So you've got to make sure you keep it mature, that you keep it about the kids, and that you don't match energy in that space, okay? Princess, I'm rooting for you. I think that's an amazing question. I appreciate you having the courage to say that. Listen, real quick, group work. Hit the link in my bio if you want to participate. I've got some slots open for Saturday at noon. It's 90 minutes. It's going to be, from the looks of it, it's going to be all questions and no lecture. That's fine. It's 90 minutes this Saturday. We're going to do some group coaching. You can hear other people's problems. You can present yours. We're going to walk through it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to see it, okay? Also, there's the link to that. Also, you can watch the replay of tonight tomorrow on my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube, go to @Zeb3. It's the same thing as my TikTok. ZEBTHE, the number 3, the letters RD. ZEBTHE, the number 3, the letters RD. That's my YouTube. It's also in that link on my bio. Go ahead right now and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified tomorrow when this live video is replayed on YouTube, all right? Because I want you to check out the replay, and I think you're going to want to listen to this again. I've got clients who tell me they listen to this as a podcast when they're driving to work or working out or things like that. So you want to go back and check out the replay. All right, y'all. What am I more active on? Right now, YouTube, Healed Scars, Hayes. Right now, YouTube. Right now, TikTok and Instagram. But this is going to start converting to YouTube within the next month or two. We're going to turn these into podcasts and really officially launch the podcast there. And I can interact a little bit better on YouTube as well, okay? Listen, y'all, I love y'all for real. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you. Have a fantastic week and a fantastic weekend. Those of you sign up for group work, I'll see you Saturday. Get ready to be challenged. It's going to be fun. If you have not signed up, make sure you do that. One last church in the comments for everybody. If this video was of help to you, I want you to type church in the comments with as many R's as you can. Would you do it quickly? And then I'm going to let you go. All right. Come on. Let me see it. If this was helpful. Thank you, Eric. I saw another guy. I love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. This was a lot of fun. Yes. Church. As many R's as you can. I appreciate all of you. And like I said, not next week, but week after, I will probably do 3 lives in 1 week. We're going to call it a little mini revival. It's going to be fun. And we're going to deal with some big topics that week and really take over TikTok and YouTube. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, y'all. Rooting for y'all. Have a fantastic week. See y'all later. Peace and blessings.